Hello, I'm Elvis Costello, and welcome to my unboxing day, which is on the occasion of the release of the songs of Bacharach and Costello. I'm going to make a noise that lovely sound that you get when you rip off the cellophane and set the record free for the first time. It's funny, I've made a lot of these record things over the years, but it never really gets old opening the first one. On the back here is my dear friend, Burt Bacharach, and I never imagined when I was a kid listening to his songs on the radio that I would be saying my friend Burt Bacharach. The man who wrote Walk On By, Anyone Who Had a Heart, The Look of Love, Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head, and What's New Pussycat. In 1995, we made our first songwriting effort together, a song called God Give Me Strength, which is on this record, and we went on to make an album called Painted From Memory. Painted From Memory was released in 1998, and this photograph taken by the legendary William Claxton took this photograph. Look that name up. He took pictures of your favorite jazz artists, often in the studio, informally like this. Burt and I were just working on something. Bill walked in with his little camera, took that. This picture, obviously, was a little more prepared. Inside this set, you have the original album, Painted From Memory, and then you have songs from a musical that never happened, but you can put it together for yourself. Here you see some of the pages from that script, just so that I can prove that it really did happen. Even stranger is the script was written by Chuck Lorre, the man who brought you 2.5 Men and The Big Bang Theory, along with Steven Sater, the man responsible for Spring Awakening, a big writer for Broadway. We all got together in the early 2000s and decided to try and thread a needle through all of the songs from Painted From Memory and make a stage production. Now, how many musicals have just miserable songs with no tap dancing? Not very many. And as a consequence, the melancholic nature and the heartbreak of these songs never made it to the Great White Way. On this second album, in this record, you see it here it is, and the CDs, which are also here, you can hear Taken From Life, which is an assembly of songs that Burt and I wrote for that musical, along with some renditions of the songs sung by other singers for the idea of putting it all together on the stage. You can have that story play in your head. You can make up your own story. We really should have put some blank sheets in here, I think, for you to write it. Along with those script pages, there's some mementos here under these CDs. There's some of the scores and mixing notes. There are even rough drafts of my attempts to really come to terms with what it was to write songs with Burt Bacharach. Now, Burt's melodies are quite different to mine, but he also allowed me to write music with him, which is something he had never done. This is collecting, I suppose, about 30 years worth of work, and inside you will see the story as I told it. There are pictures ranging from a very wonderful picture, which I won't try and describe, but it's from the 1963 Royal Variety Show, which is a famous concert at which John Lennon said, "You can clap along and the rest of you can rattle your jewelry," meaning the royal family who were there in attendance. Now, my father is in this picture, like just 4 away from Burt Bacharach. Burt at the time was the musical director for Hollywood legend Marlene Dietrich. So it's really strange to say that I'm holding this thing which kind of has a connection with my life from when I was just a boy to now, which is obviously I'm not so boy-like. Burt and I there taken in a sudden moment unawares by the fashion photographer Rankin. And inside there's a 10,000 word story about this record. And then in another booklet, you get all of the words. And like I say, you can sing along or you can cry along, whatever is your disposition. It's really lovely to see all this written out. I never dreamed that I would make this record. And the fact that we get now to kind of celebrate it. The songs of Bacharach and Costello.